In this video we are going to take a closer look at one of the units in 9th edition that might just make their late comeback, the Eliminators. First we will take a look at their datasheet and loadouts, then we will go through how to specifically make use of them in a Deathwatch army. Lastly, there will be some modeling recommendations and a quick wrap up. This release is the first part of a mini-series on the Spectrus Kill Team, which will cover all the units available to that kill team. Welcome to SwissHammer, your channel for modeling in Warhammer 40k. My name is Tammer and I will be guiding you through this video. Looking at their datasheet, what stands out immediately for the Eliminators is their ballistic skill of 2+, which of course fits their Phobos sniper theme. In the recently released chapter approved Field Monitorum MK2, they have actually received a points decrease, going from 30 down to 25 points with the default bolt sniper rifle. This puts them only 1 point above an infiltrator. When using the bolt sniper rifle, they can ignore the lookout sir rule and they can select between 3 different weapon profiles. As an alternative, they can exchange their sniper rifle for a Las Fusil, which also received a points reduction from 10 points down to 5, making the Eliminators at 30 points a very affordable anti-tank or anti-elite choice that basically outclasses the 3 points more expensive Hellblasters with the heavy weapon profile. I covered this in a previous video about Hellblasters and their different weapon loadouts. The link is in the description. For the Sergeant, there is also the option to take an Instigator Bolt Carbine, which is not that impressive by itself, but it is tied to a special ability called Covering Fire. In your shooting phase, after this unit has shot, if it is not within engagement range of any enemy units and contains an Eliminator Sergeant equipped with an Instigator Bolt Carbine, it can make a normal move as if it were your movement phase. Combined with their camo cloak, this pretty much makes the Eliminators the perfect snipers that can retreat back to cover after their shooting and then get an additional 1 to any armor saving throws against ranged attacks. Furthermore, they also get concealed positions and they have the core keyword. With the basics covered, how can we best use them in the Deathwatch? Due to the Deathwatch being able to take them as their own squads, as well as including them in a Spectrus Kill Team, the question is of course which one is better. When running Eliminators as their own Eliminator squad, they are a heavy support choice. Limited to 3 models including the Sergeant, they have become very affordable at only 75 points with the default loadout. While in many other kill teams, the question of whether to take the Sergeant or not boils down to an extra attack in the profile. For the Eliminators, being able to take the Sergeant is quite huge because of the previously mentioned Instigator Bolt Carbine. In the recent Rage 40k Grand Tournament, Joel Wilson managed to score an amazing rank 4 with a list that contained 3 Eliminator squads. In one of them, he even went a step further and used the sanction of the Black Vault Stratagem to put the Bane Bolts of Erixia, I'm sure I butchered that one, on the Sergeant's Instigator Bolt Carbine. Basically, what the relic does is changing the weapon to a single attack, which in this case it has anyway, but then it gets strength 6, AP -2 and flat damage 3. We now have an Eliminator squad with access to the special ability without compromising the damage output of the Sergeant. Genius, if I may say so. The link to the full list is in the description. In comparison, when running them as part of the Spectrus Kill Team, we can add up to 5 Eliminators, they gain OPSEC, and they can use the Infiltrators as ablative wounds, or even make use of some of their war gear, like the Helix Gauntlet or the Comms Array. They also gain access to Smokescreen and Specialisms, which are great combined with their ballistic skill of 2+. A popular way to run such a kill team are 6 Infiltrators, including a Helix Adept, and 4 Eliminators, then splitting the Eliminators together with the Helix Adept. This way, we get 2 combat squads with the Deep Strike Denial bubble, and the Eliminators get some additional protection. For more information on the Primaris kill teams and their viable loadouts, also check out my guide linked in the description. When comparing the 2 different ways to bring the Eliminators along, I think this is the one case where it is really a tie. Personally, I would rate them as pretty much equal and would recommend deciding based on the rest of the list and whether you can actually use the Infiltrators or not. Personally, I absolutely love to have them, so for me they are not really considered to be attacks, but outside of that I could totally see myself using the Eliminator squad instead. For stratagems, we have the always popular transhuman physiology, and when combined with Infiltrators in a Spectrus Kill Team, we could even access Smokescreen. We can also put them into the Teleportarium, but as they already get concealed positions, it's questionable whether that's a viable option. Due to them being a Phobos unit, they also get access to Guerrilla Tactics, which allows them to go back to reserve and then arrive again next turn. All in all, while I personally have always liked to have them along in a Spectrus Kill Team, the recent points drop has easily brought them back up to competitive levels in the Deathwatch, and I would certainly consider both weapon loadouts as well as both battlefield roles for them to be viable. With that being said, let's have a look at some modeling recommendations. One thing to look out for is the difference between the Eliminators contained in the box deals, like the Space Marine Combat Patrol or the Start Collecting Vanguard, which are easy to build models, and the models contained within their separate kit. When it comes to exchanging their left shoulder pad for the Deathwatch Pauldron, this is far more difficult to do on the easy to build models because of their camo cloaks. On the full kit, 2 out of 3 Eliminators can be converted with a minimum amount of clipping. I have covered this conversion in a separate video, the link is in the description. Likewise, the weapon loadouts can also be easily magnetized when going for the full kit. While the box deals are quite the bargain, if you are planning to go for less fossils and need to honor what you see is what you get, then the full kits might be less of a hassle overall, though of course far more expensive. To wrap things up, the Eliminators are the iconic sniper of a Space Marine army, and they have recently enjoyed a points decrease in the chapter-approved Field Monitorum MK2, which makes them quite a bargain these days. For weapons, they can pick between the sniper rifle, which ignores the Lookout Sir rule, and the anti-armor Las Fusil. Both of these weapons are currently viable. The Sergeant also gets access to an additional weapon, which comes with a special ability to allow the Eliminator squad to make an additional move after firing. Because of this special ability, running them as an Eliminator squad or as part of the Spectrus Kill Team is quite a difficult decision to make. In short, both are great. When running them as their own squad, having access to the Sergeant gives the mentioned extra move. In addition to this, you can even give the Sergeant an extra relic to improve his gun. In contrast, while part of a Spectrus Kill Team, you can include up to 5 Eliminators, they gain OPSEC, and they profit from being mixed with Infiltrators. For stratagems, what stands out is guerrilla tactics, allowing them to be put back to reserves. All in all, while I personally have always liked to have them along in a Spectrus Kill Team, the recent points drop has easily brought them back up to competitive levels in the Deathwatch, and I would certainly consider both weapon loadouts as well as both battlefield roles for them to be viable. So that's it for the Eliminators in the Deathwatch. Have you guys been using these yourself, or are you favoring other models instead? Let me know in the comments. Finally, I would also like to mention that there is a SwissHammer Facebook page where I will be posting links to my videos as well as articles I find of interest. I do read a lot about the hobby, but not all of it will always end up as its own video. I look forward to seeing you there as well. I do also have a Patreon page. If you like my content, any additional support is greatly appreciated as it helps me invest into future videos. As always, thank you very much for watching, guys. Your continued support is greatly appreciated. I hope you have been enjoying this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks again and see you next time.